I've just discovered Sneako, and I've never been more disappointed in my life. Because people keep talking about like Andrew Tate and like Sneako and these brand of men, like the 21st century men, and the way that they hype themselves up. And I'm going in there and I'm like hyped. I'm like, oh my god, these are like the ultimate alpha males. I can't wait to discover who these men are. What successes have they laid upon this world? What empires have they forged? And it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. I'm disappointed, not because I'm a woman and that I'm offended. I'm disappointed because they haven't achieved more. They were hyping themselves up so much, and I was expecting so much, and I didn't get any of that. I want to talk about something that's weird, and it's this brand of like, and I will say hashtag not all men. Hashtag not all men, not all. Most of you are like, chef's kiss, carry on with your lives, doing good, representing the male sex quite well. And then there are these few men, just these tiny little chunks of men that just aren't quite happy with being men. I say that because there's no way you can possibly be happy with the way that you are as a man if you have to overcompensate so much. As much as I dislike extreme feminists, I've never heard a feminist go off about men so much in my everyday to-day life as I hear these men talk about women. It's like I feel like they talk about women so much because they don't understand women, but they want to convince other people that they do in fact understand women. And the thing is, it's not just like Andrew Tate, and it's not just this Sneako guy who I have no idea who these men were prior to a few months ago. Like, they keep talking about like they're the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm like, I was living fine and ignorant in the fact that you weren't there, and the addition of you to my social consciousness has not given me any kind of improvement at all. Maybe as a woman I don't need that. Maybe because I don't have a penis, it doesn't qualify me for being a better person or having a better quality of life. Maybe I don't deserve it. I thought these guys were going to tell me how to improve myself as a woman. I thought I was going to get like a life hack as to how exactly I can be a better woman, and all I got in return was nothing. I have no instruction on how to be a better woman. I feel cheated. I feel as if you were going to sit there and talk about how much women are the bane of your existence, you would at least give us a few tips as to how to be better women, but unfortunately we didn't get that. And I am, by the way, hyped up on antibiotics. I get like 15 minutes of like solid energy, and I'm waiting an hour until I can have my next antibiotic. And during that time I thought, I'll look into Sneako. I'll find out how to be a better woman for Sneako, because evidently that is my life goal. Didn't know who he was until a few days ago, but I need to be a better woman for Sneako, this random seemingly American man who I'll never meet in my life and has no bearing on my existence. But we must be our best female selves for men like Sneako, because he is the epitome of manliness. But all I've garnered from this experience is that men have really downgraded over the course of history. You used to forge empires, topple empires. You were philosophers. It was great. There was a lot of war, but in terms of like changing history, I will say that while women have had a massive role in that, our history tends to be more, because we're afforded more opportunities in the modern day. There are more women that have contributed in more recent times when compared to men because of patriarchy. Like, it's not that we aren't capable of doing it, it's that we should be in the kitchen, and any scientific advancement a woman has is witchcraft, so don't do it. So in that regard, men did have a pivotal role in history based on the fact that their gender role afforded that to them. So there are these men toppling empires, like bringing bringing entire civilizations to their knees, and now in 2023 we have Andrew Tate and Sneako asking us not to own cats and not to cry at movies. That is a downgrade, Serge. Of course, women were badass. My favourite, a lot of people don't know this, but my actual favourite Chinese figure in history is Shunguan, who is the 13-year-old girl who responded to a siege on her family's estate by rallying a force and defeating them, and basically, I'm not sure which city it is now, but it was Wancheng. She basically defeated an entire siege force at the age of 13. What the f*** has everybody else been doing at the age of 13? Andrew Tate just discovered his balls at 13. Even then, in comparison to the times, because most of female society was limited by gender roles, she is an anomaly. Again, not because women are unable to do those things. I feel like these are the guys that are the opposite to crazy feminists, and I will say a lot of what we see online is an over-bloated version of feminism. If you went to a feminist circle nowadays, I highly doubt that the main topic of conversation would be some kind of trivial thing about, I don't know, some non-issue with manspreading. These are the things that take the internet by storm because they're ridiculous. And my life hasn't improved since. I haven't learned how to be a better woman. I haven't learned in any way, shape or form how I can best fulfill my biological destiny as a female. I don't feel like anything has actually been achieved other than he's now also anti-Semitic, and as a Jew I'm a bit uncomfortable. Sneako, people have already done videos, but again, I've been in hospital. This is the time, this is where I got to learn who Sneako was. Very excited. I was like, oh my god. First of all, his name's Sneako. My name on YouTube is Cringy, and I still think that his name's cringier than mine. Sneako. Sounds like a really shit assassin. It's like, promise you I'm stealthy. Sneako, where the fuck come from? They're kind of like non-incel alpha males, and they're like the downgraded version of what men used to be like. I feel like you guys truly are in your element, most of you. I feel like that's when you have the best bragging rights, because what better achievement is there to say that, well, I started my own empire? And then you roll to 2013 and there are men that are just happy that they've got a few women on the go. That's a downgrade. What are you talking about? I've got a few women, I've got an Aston Martin, I've got a Rolls Royce and a BMW. These are the only car makes I know, by the way. Stereotypical woman. So, yeah, I don't know anything about cars. Point against me, I guess. That is the height of male superiority nowadays. They got bitches, they got cars, and I always feel like there's some bragging about a watch involved. Every time I see these flex videos, they're like, a watch. I, as a whole, whether it be men or women, don't understand designer brands. And that might be people saying, well, you can't afford designer brands, that's why. I can actually afford them. I am pretty broke, but if I want something, I'll find the money to get it. Ergo my Monster High collection, which is small but growing. If I really wanted something, I could find the money. I'm a Jew, so I'm sure the media would give it to me. Sorry, your ancestors were literally laying siege to countries. Gym bros. You used to be warriors, and now you're gym bros. How disappointing. Women, I will say, have done the opposite, because historically women, again, weren't allowed to do certain things. Of course, some women, ergo Wu Zetian, looked at that idea of being allowed to do something, laughed in its face, and then drowned her enemies in wine, actual thing that did happen, and did it anyway. There are the women out there that did do those things because they wanted to and didn't care about. I feel like when we look at women in history and people talk about a woman being able to do something, it's not whether they're able or not, it's whether or not they have like the sheer recklessness and willpower to do it, when weighing up the options. Because let's be fair, most women wouldn't have led a rebellion against the Romans, because that wasn't a woman's place. And then you have Boudica, who literally had no shits left to give. Her husband her husband was dead, her daughters had been... The point being that I feel like women have done the opposite to men. No offence, men, but you've kind of downgraded because you've had the opportunities to do everything you've ever wanted to do, and you've just either got bored of it or run out of things to do. Whereas women, on the other hand, are gaining their rights and they can do more. Like a sliding scale. It's like the tables have turned, except men are doing this willingly. They're becoming gym bros willingly, because you still have the same ability to do those things, except, maybe human rights, like, maybe don't, overtake a throne country. Maybe people are going to take this as me being like, yes, invasions are great, but you get what I'm saying. Because when I think of the average alpha male as someone who's like really interested in history, I think of bona fide warriors. Maybe that's not possible in today's situation, but I don't think of Andrew Tate. That's the point. When I think of a man who is an alpha male, I don't think of Sneako. If I wanted him, like, Sneako, again, his name sounds like he's a shitty assassin. Sneako sounds like if Nintendo had like an added assassin character to like Mario. He's like, here's Sneako. Where did that... I know my YouTube name's cringy, alright? But I think Sneako is still a cringier name than me. It sounds like a really shit assassin. Mario Brothers. Oh, yes. Mario, Luigi, and Sneako. Anyway. So, when I found out... I'm probably going to keep rolling back to the beginning, because I do that. And also heavy antibiotics that I'm on. And when I heard that he was a bona fide alpha male, I was excited to figure out how to be a woman. I was exceedingly excited. I was like, right, I am a woman. Just checked myself, made sure I had the qualifying secondary sex characteristics and that I identified, and I did. So I was very excited. I learnt nothing. All I learnt was that apparently I cry at movies. I feel like a lot of the time when these men curate images for themselves, again, it is catered towards the men, teaching them how to be better men, but I feel like they're really missing out on opportunity when it comes to this, and because they tell women what they are and what they should be, but they don't actually do it. Like, if you guys are going to sit down and tell people that women are weaker, and aren't as good in power or whatever. Again, Wu Zetian is laughing at you from Chinese hell. I feel like you should have like a part of that tells women, because I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like if you're going to sit down and tell me, okay, you're inherently this, and this, if you're going to have like a fucking university course or whatever and tell men how to be alpha men, I feel like I deserve an opportunity to figure out how to be a better woman other than being in the kitchen. Your ideas aren't very original. I've heard this before. I know what a kitchen is. Thank you for informing me of what a kitchen is. But how do I become a better woman? And that's the thing. That's why I feel the problem with the equality with Andrew Tate and Sneako isn't that they hate women, it's that they refuse to tell us how to be better women. Quite frankly, I'm insulted. I would like to be a better woman. Apparently owning cats is a feminine thing. That's something that made me laugh. When Andrew Tate said that, because again, it's not just these two people, it's this brand of men that are made to tell people how to be men, as if you guys again need to be told from some gym bros who haven't yet conquered an empire. And as somebody who is heavily invested in history, my rating system on how manly a man is directly correlated to how many empires they've overthrown. I'd like to let you all know that the majority of this is sarcasm. I'm very disappointed. I was expecting the manliest of man who would have the answers to all. And instead, I got a guy who goes to the gym and take pictures like a large majority of jocks